So what do you expect me to say?
Let's get him!
I know you feel this way. Coming after you.
Hey there, what's up internet? My name is BlackLightAttack, and today we have another NU battle. It's against a guy called Jxtreme, who does not have a YouTube channel, so there is not a link in the description. This game was pretty interesting. I wasn't totally paying attention to this game. I was actually playing at work, so I was kind of distracted and trying to like handle alarms coming in and stuff while I was doing this. Not actually important alarms. If it was actually something important, I would have dropped the game, but yeah, anyway, this is just sort of a team I kind of threw together while at work. Didn't really have much else going on, and got this match. I thought it was pretty good. It's pretty long too. So let's take a look at the teams. I'm using a Probopass for, I think, the first time. I think this is the first time I'm using Probopass. A Skuntank who is running a Trapper and Exploding set, along with Taunt, and a Cinccino who's using a Life Orb and Technician. Pretty standard Cinccino stuff, I think. I think I put in Encore instead of one of its stock moves, though. Wartortle, who's playing, you know, just rapid spin. It's all Wartortle can do. Pinsir, who is Scarfed, and Electrode, who is Specs. On his team, threats I'm seeing are the Ampharos, who, if it sets up an agility, can definitely be a problem for my team, considering my special wall is hit super effectively by his stab, and my my physical wall, Probopass, is hit neutrally and doesn't have any special defense investment. Not to mention he can easily one-hit KO Probopass without Sturdy if he has the Focus Blast, which Ampharos typically does. Everything else doesn't seem that threatening. Maybe the Leafeon, but we'll have to see just what kind of set that's running, because it can run a couple different sets, but let's see how it goes. So I'm going to predictably lead off with my Probopass, and he answers by leading off with his Ampharos, predicting this, I believe, because he carries the Focus Blast, as I said, Ampharos usually does, but I'm way too focused on getting my rocks up, so I deem this an acceptable trade, which I really shouldn't have. He does have 3 guys who are weak to Stealth Rocks, which means it is important to get the rocks up to keep him from freely switching too much, but he has a Rapid Spinner on his team, and if my Rocker's dead, then there's nothing to stop him from coming in, rapid spinning away, and then just being rocks free for the rest of the game. And Armaldo's a pretty damn reliable rapid spinner, so there's a pretty good chance that with my rocker dead, he's gonna be pretty much hazard free for at some point in the game and until the game ends. So that really sucks. Really bad play on my part, and he's got a 5-6 lead on me now, for basically nothing, for a little bit of switch-in damage, which is really not worth it. So I go into my Scarfed Pinsir, and I'm going to scare him out, threatening the Earthquake, but I don't want to overpredict too much because he still has his whole team to switch into, so I'm just going to go straight for the Earthquake. And he does predict this nicely, and go into his Leafeon, who has a really fantastic physical defense stat. Not the best HP, but a really good defense stat, and he takes it really well. I'm thinking at this point, he's probably a defensive set, but I can't be sure. He could just have HP investment, but I do know that he has a really good defense stat, is my point. So I'm going to go into Electrode because that's going to scare him out. Because one good hit from Electrode from either a Signal Beam or a Hidden Power Ice is going to take him out. And he's going to switch here. And I probably should have called this, but I'm still not over-predicting too much, and I go straight for the Hidden Power Ice, because it has better coverage than the Signal Beam. Signal Beam does have a higher base power, but Hidden Power Ice has much better coverage. But he goes into his Armaldo, who takes neutral damage, takes it pretty well, and then gets the Wish. So, okay, not a great turnout for me. So, that's it's 0 for me, 2 for this guy. Switch out and go straight into my Wartortle, because not much else wants to take a hit from this guy. I don't want to risk him having an Earthquake. Wartortle wouldn't have taken an Earthquake too well from Armaldo anyway, but he just goes for the Rapid Spin, gets my rocks down, and now he's looking good because Probopass officially died for nothing. So I'm just going to go straight for a Toxic. I was kind of hoping to peg his Armaldo, but he goes into Lapras, which isn't bad, because I'm pretty sure his Lapras is running some HP EVs, because as you're going to see, he does go for the Toxic here. I'm going to go straight for the Seismic Toss. I was not expecting a Toxic, to be honest, but I'm going to go straight for a Seismic Toss. And that's going to deal, based on how much that does, I'm thinking he has HP investment, so I'm thinking maybe he's a tank. Not a wall. A tank. The difference between a tank and a wall is a tank is mostly defensive but has some damage dealing capability. But I'm going to protect to scout to see what he wants to do on this turn. And he does go for the Thunderbolt, which is why I said a second ago that I thought he was a tank. So I don't want to stay in and take a Thunderbolt. So I am going to switch out on this turn while the poison damage is racking up on both of us. And I actually forget who I switch into. This match is actually a couple days old, so he's going to switch as well, so this is a double switch. He goes back into his Leafeon, who, as you'll see in a minute, is going to be a massive pain in the ass for my entire team. Luckily, I get the better switch here going out into Electrode, which may have been sort of a risky switch, but if he had gone for another Thunderbolt, I at least would have resisted it, even though Electrode is pretty squishy. So this time I go for the Signal Beam. Hoping to at least get neutral damage on something, but he goes out into his Emboar. At this point, I should have been Volt switching to try to keep my offensive priority, my offensive momentum going, but unfortunately, it's not the way it works out. So I'm thinking he's probably going to Earthquake here, and I do predict that correctly. Go into Pinsir, who has a pretty respectable defense stat of his own, even though I don't have any investment here. I know that I'm going to resist, and it's not stab, so he doesn't do that much damage to me. And that's great, because now I'm free to predict his switch into Leafeon, go for an X-Scissor. I did not expect him to stay in, fearing to Earthquake again. I knew he was going to switch out to Leafeon, third time in a row, so just go straight for the X-Scissor for super effective damage. Just in case he wants to stay in, I am going to go for the X-Scissor again, because there's nothing on his team that really particularly wants to take one. But Armaldo is the natural switch in for him, because I believe it's his physical wall. But it still does a pretty hefty chunk to him. Bug and Rock does not resist Bug, so that did pretty damn good damage if I do say so myself. So I'm not really sure what he wants to go for here. I'm thinking Stone Edge or Rock Blast. That's what I'm fearing anyway. I wasn't positive he was going to go for it, but I was fearing it. So I'm just going to go into Wartortle, who does not take that Stone Edge well at all. And now with the Toxic damage racking up, I pretty much only have 1 or 2 turns left to survive, depending on what he wants to do. So I just go straight for the Toxic again, hoping to leave some lasting impression with Wartortle. And I luckily tag his Leafeon, which is exactly who I want that on, because I haven't seen him use Heal Bell yet to heal his other guys of paralysis, or Toxic damage. So I'm thinking maybe he doesn't carry the Heal Bell, and we'll find out whether or not he does soon. So we go into Electrode again, because I'm expecting him to keep running his support moves, because at this point I'm thinking this guy is pretty much a passive set. He maybe has a Leaf Blade, maybe like Return or something, but I don't think he's offensive at all, so I'm thinking that even if he does go for an attack, Electrode can take it. And I save my my Wartortle for fodder. So he Wish Passes to Emboar, and I'm actually going to call this pretty nicely and go for the Volt Switch over the Signal Beam or the Hidden Power Fire, because it does a lot more damage to the Emboar, and even though his Wish is going to basically undo all that damage I just did, it lets me get the offensive momentum and go into somebody who can scare him out. So now I throw out my Pinsir, which is kind of throwing the glove down. This is going to be a prediction war. He knows I have the Earthquake. Am I going to go for it? I do decide to go for it, thinking that he might over-predict a little bit, and he does. It would have sucked if he stayed in and went for the Flare Blitz or something, but I know there's no chance he could possibly outspeed me, because I am Scarfed as well, and he is going to go down to the Earthquake. So I guess by now he knows that I am choiced, because he's going to go out and do his Noctowl, who obviously can't be hit by the Earthquake. So I'm just going to fodder my Wartortle to see what he wants to do here. He goes for the attack, surprisingly, so I'm thinking like maybe it's like a Calm Mind offensive variant or something. But I'm going to go into my Electrode to scare him out with the super effective stab. But I am just going to go straight for the Volt Switch, because no matter what he wants to do, nothing resists Electric on his team anymore. Except for Leafeon, who doesn't want to switch into a Signal Beam or a Hidden Power Fire. And either way, I'm going to keep that offensive momentum going with the Volt Switch. I'm going to go back into Pinsir. Now, I could potentially go for the super effective Stone Edge here, but I figure it's probably better to go for the neutral close combat on this turn, because it'll hit everything on his team at least neutrally. And if you wanted to switch into Leafeon, I'm pretty sure that would deal a hefty amount of damage to him as well. Armaldo on his team, I was thinking he was probably physically defensive a second ago, but now I'm realizing that Leafeon is filling that role, so he's probably a tank as well as his Lapras. So I'm going to go straight for the close combat again. I'm just going to stay in. Now here I could have finished him off. I could have. He goes for the Wish again, and I'm just thinking, well, he keeps wishing, and I've only seen 2 of his moves, or actually only 1. I think I've only seen Wish so far, so he's got to have Protect there. The Protect is really obvious this turn, so I'm going to switch out, and okay, he's going to heal, that's fine, but I'm just going to switch out to Electro, keep my momentum going, and he goes for the Heal Bell, which I don't know if he was actually predicting me to switch or what. But apparently he doesn't carry the Protect, because Protect was the move to go for on that turn, if he did have it. And now his Toxic is gone, and he's got almost all of his health back. That is such a pain in the ass because this thing has just been a huge thorn in my side the entire game. So he obviously doesn't want to stay in and take anything from Electrode, but I'm just going to go straight for the Signal Beam. And now I make a risky play and stay in and go for the Signal Beam again. It is going to be a 3-hit KO on this guy, but I'm not really sure what he wants to go for. If he had gone for a Focus Blast, I think it might have killed me. I'm not positive, but based on how much damage this does, maybe. It would probably be close. I had no guarantee that I would have actually survived an attack from this Ampharos, but I'm just going to keep going for that Signal Beam. It would have been a 3-hit KO, but he does switch out into his Noctowl to resist it. Noctowl also has a pretty impressive special defense stat. So I'm going to switch out here fearing like a Hypnosis or something. And obviously I can't really do any damage to him, so I'm going to go into my Skuntank, because I wouldn't really mind if he was asleep. I kind of need all my faster guys more, because I don't really see any priority on this guy's team. And he just goes for the Air Slash, and Skuntank takes it really nicely. I could have gone for the Pursuit here, but I wasn't really sure if he might stick around and try to like do some supporty kind of wall move, so I go for the Taunt. And I hit it on the Ampharos, which doesn't really do anything, but it does allow me to go for the Pursuit, because I'm pretty sure that even if he doesn't try to switch out, Pursuit's going to KO, and I won't reveal that I have the Sucker Punch. It's pretty obvious that Skuntank usually carries Sucker Punch, but just in case, just to leave a little doubt in his mind. So I'm going to go straight for the Taunt again, and that's going to stop him from using Heal Bell, and he actually predicts the Taunt on his Leafeon. Just goes straight for the Leaf Blade, which doesn't do much because it is resisted. Skuntank is surprisingly bulky, even though I don't have any investment. He's taking these attacks pretty nicely, but I'm going to switch out here, hoping that he's going to double switch. But he actually doesn't. He stays and goes for the Leaf Blade. I did kind of account for that in going into Pinsir, though, because even if he did decide to stay in the Leaf, stay in and go for the Leaf Blade, I do resist. But he gets a crit, which is unfortunate, but I'm like, okay. Never has there been a better time for an X-Scissor, because the only guy that resists is Noctowl, and it will deal a ton of damage to Noctowl anyway, because he has really bad physical defense, and it does a ton of damage, and I'm thinking, okay, I can live this next Leaf Blade, finish him off next turn. He goes for the Leaf Blade again, and he gets another crit. That's 2 crits in a row, so that really sucks. That is quite a bit of hacks right there, but, you know, it blows. It just sucks. I really wanted Pinsir to stick around and be a beast, but he already did a ton of work on this team, so I am going to scare him out with the Electrode, because he knows he can't take a special attack from this guy, and I am just going to go straight for the Hidden Power, because it's going to hit both of them. It's going to hit anybody on his team, at least neutrally. Actually, now that I think about it, the Hidden Power is a pretty dumb move. I should have just gone for the Volt Switch, because Lapras could have switched into that that Hidden Power Ice and resisted it, but oh well. So he takes it with his Noctowl, who doesn't take it all that great, but it's still pretty well considering that I'm Specs and it's super effective. But it is Hidden Power, it's only base 70. So I know I can take another Air Slash. I'm going to do that, take another Air Slash, and then just go straight for the Explosion. I was kind of hoping for a Leafeon switch in here, because he knows that my Skuntank can hit him really hard, but he stays in and just takes it. He said he wasn't expecting an Explosion at all, but Skuntank is a brave soldier and does his duty, explodes right at the perfect moment, which is when he has like no health left. And so now pretty much he only has Lapras and Leafeon, I believe. So Lapras is his, I guess, his only choice. Personally, I would have gone with Leafeon, I guess, but I mean the Electrode, it doesn't really matter, because the Electrode is going to take him out, take both of them out, because he has super effective coverage against both. So I go for the Volt Switch, and it does crit. I don't think it really mattered, but Jxtreme's going to come out, hit the ground for the first time in the entire match. Originally, I had the idea of like a U-turning and Volt turning. It's called the Volt Turn combination, where you just have one guy who Volt Switches and one guy who U-turns, and you basically just pass off, keep offensive momentum going. But even though U-turn would have been super effective here, I'm thinking I could probably live at least one attack, and Tail Slap is probably the better option, just because U-turn might not KO. I'm not positive it would have KO'd from that range, and I don't want Electro to then take a Leaf Blade. So, but after the Tail Slap, even though it only does 2 hits, I'm pretty sure that I can finish them all with a U-turn, and I do, and that's going to be the game. So, thank you for the match, Jxtreme. Everybody at home, please like the video if you did like it. It was a nice long match for you. Plenty of annoying wish stalling. That Leafeon was a huge pain in the ass. It's not really any surprise to me that that was the last thing to go down on his team, but oh well, it was still fun. And thank you guys for watching. Take it easy.